what most people are doing isn't working. My pastor in college used to say this all the time. We want to be like most people.
Most people isn't you. Your decisions are your decisions. And those collective decisions are going to determine not what your success is, but where your success is.
In my business, Sweet Fish, we spend all day, every day doing media production for companies.
Okay.
And one of the things that we've learned is that you have to have a differentiated point of view. So if you're a company creating content and you're just saying the same thing that everybody else is saying, your content's not going to stand out. You're not going to break through the noise. There's too much content on the internet. You have to actually have something differentiated and a different, what we call a differentiated point of view. And one of the questions that we started asking to kind of uncover what could this differentiated point of view be. So a question that we like to ask is, what is a commonly held belief that you passionately disagree with? And usually cater it to the industry or whatever. But it's essentially like trying to get to the essence of like, what are your contrarian takes? And this post that we're going to break down today from Shaan Puri, one of the co-hosts. He's the co-host of My First Million, so one of my favorite podcasts. Yep. And he's breaking down some of his he says a few semi-controversial things I believe. It's a tweet thread that got a lot of traction. Looks like a couple years ago, but really fun. And wanted to start by getting some of your hot takes. So what's a contrarian point of view that you have about life or work?
A contrarian point of view. My life is contrarian. But I think if I'm going to hone it down to one that I always go to and truly believe is a jack of all trades is a master of none. Because people keep forgetting the second half of that.
What is it?
Jack of all trades is a master of none, but better is he than a master of one.
Mic drop. I don't ever hear anybody talk about that.
Because you think about it, bro. I mean, you're talking about a master of one trade. If you're a jack of all trades, then you have a level of mastery in multiple industries. It doesn't have to be like 15 or 20, but say you have 3 or 4. And a jack compared to a king is still a face card. It's not as high, but I'd rather have 4 jacks than 1 king if we playing poker, you know? And what if, say you are the king of one trade and you do one thing really well. You're missing out on being semi-proficient on things you're passionate about or things that you love, or anything else that you enjoy doing outside of whatever that one thing is. And what if that one industry collapses? Now you're the king of nothing, right? You look at Warren Buffett, his 525 rule. You say, if you really want to if you want to do something great, bring all like 25 ideas, write them all down, great ideas, pick 5. He didn't say pick 1, he said pick 5. And then start at 1. I'm not saying you do all 5 at once. I've tried that. It's not fun, right? Turn the shotgun into a sniper and you start pinging them down, but don't keep shooting the dead deer. You know, if you have 5 bullets and you downed 1, why you keep shooting it? You know,
I think about the 2 people on our team, or the 2 people in our company that have had the most transformational impact on the trajectory of our business, and it's 2 people that I would absolutely classify as jack of all trades type people. One of them is our current CEO. He's literally building his own house right now.
Oh wow!
He's the
hard hat,
hard hat. He's out there building his own house.
Wow!
He's been a pastor of a church. Yeah. So he is a great communicator. He has been a music teacher, so he's into the arts.
Very cool.
He's overseen our creative team in the past. Anyway, and then another guy that I'm thinking of that was also just great at a lot of different things.
Yep.
And
I always tell people to find one thing in 3 areas. Find areas of focus for your head, your heart, and your hands, because that is where you can always leverage them off of each other. A triangle in building, your CEO knows, is the strongest shape in the world. Because for me, in the head is entrepreneurship, in the heart it's music, in my hands it's basketball and canoeing and stuff. And if I'm doing one, or gardening, like I love doing gardening, and if I'm doing one and I get burnt out, or if I'm doing two, I can lean on the other, and I always have those three things around to keep me balanced.
Yeah, I would say my head, heart, and hands. My head would be media. I love studying media, understanding what's working. How do you captivate and keep somebody's attention?
It's your whole business, man. Yeah, it's going well, so good.
So head media. Heart is the foster care problem that we have in America. 400,000 kids in the foster care system that need loving homes. We've got kids staying in just incredibly awful situations. So I want to solve that problem. That's a heart problem.
Nice.
And my hands, I think it's like maybe eating licorice. I eat licorice with my hands.
I mean, that's not where we're okay. Do you make licorice?
No.
Okay, then that doesn't count.
I'm like the least handy person ever.
Yeah, that's not true. Do you
sure. I don't know how any of this stuff works.
Do you like cars?
No.
Do you like sports?
Yeah.
What sports?
I don't like playing sports. I like watching
sports.
No. I tried playing pickleball with my buddy Blake the other day, and I hated it.
He's really good, though.
He's really good. But I was playing with some other guys that weren't as good as him. Yeah. They were still way more athletic.
Do you like going out in nature?
No.
What do you do to get your physical release?
I work out with a personal trainer.
You work out?
And I don't enjoy it. I do it because I don't want to die at 50.
Okay.
And I want to.
You'll wind up enjoying
have mobility.
There has to be something that you enjoy doing.
You say that. Ask my wife.
You know what? It's time for you to go to the beach or to the mountains.
I like going to the beach, but I just like sitting on the sand. I don't like building sand castles or doing stuff with my hands.
I mean, going to the beach is an act. People spend
You should get a drive with your hands.
It's vir a la playa.
All right, my controversial hot take, or my contrarian point of view, the one that I keep coming back to, is this quote: "Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise." And I can't say that I'm necessarily
who made that
wise. You can't put that tag on yourself. Wealthy, that's perspective. That's all
globally. Absolutely,
globally for sure.
Yeah.
Healthy, I'd say emotionally, I'm very healthy. Physically, I'm getting healthier. Mentally, I think I'm pretty healthy. And I wake up at 10 o'clock. And I think the value that I get from getting 8-9 hours of sleep a night far surpasses this like common trope in entrepreneurship land that you have to wake up at 4 a.m. To be successful.
I think Gary Vee actually talks about that. He has, in one of his podcasts, he talks about like how if you sleep 6 to 10 hours, it shouldn't matter. What should matter is the value you produce when you're awake. Yes. That's what he says. It's like, I'm never going to compromise on my sleep. That's one thing I remember him saying. And I was like, wow, good for you, Gary Vee. Because I'm an early bird and a night owl. So naps are where I go, And so I love waking up at 4 a.m. But I also like staying up until 4 a.m. And so it's just a matter of which phase. So I don't think everybody should, I agree. I don't think everybody should be that, because then where would the nightlife go? What would happen? The Starbucks line would be ridiculous. Can you imagine?
Well, I mean, yeah. I have some of my most creative energy is after 10 p.m. When I have ideas for the business, or even last night I was up till 1 a.m. jamming on stuff with Jeremy, our CEO, on direction and positioning for our business, and had to wake up at 8 a.m. to work out, and it sucked. I'm like, God, I should have planned that better.
Yeah.
Planned my workout for later in the day.
Planning to sleep well according to your body makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Yep.
There it is.
So Shaan Puri, he's got these few semi-controversial things that he believes. The first one actually made me think of you, which is why I brought this to the table, because you're a real estate man. Shaan says, real estate has the highest percentage of dumb rich people.
Really, bro?
I'm not saying you're dumb if you're in real estate. I'm saying if you want to get rich without needing to be a genius, real estate is your best bet.
So glad you thought of me. So glad.
Because you're my real estate man.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. It is the wisest investment a simple man can make because it requires very little thought. You buy it, you own it.
You wait.
You wait. You can sell it.
You sell it for more.
You can sell it. You can keep it. It's going to appreciate in value. There aren't any volcanoes going off, so there's not more land being built. Matter of fact, the water levels are rising, so there's less land. In Orlando, actually in Realtor Magazine, we just got it yesterday. On the cover of it, it says in Florida, especially Central Florida, no houses available. So guess what? If you got some money piled up from being a dumb whatever you are, because there's literally dumb people in every profession, you put enough money into real estate, you buy your own piece of land, your own piece of property, guess what? It's going to appreciate in value. And if it doesn't,
what is it? There's more millionaires made in real estate than any other.
There is. I just, dumb rich people though, bro. I mean, I get it, but I'm not dumb.
Dumb rich people. He's not. Yeah, that's not what he's getting at. But
you don't have to be a genius.
I like the take.
Look at the stock market. You know how intuitive you have to be with analytics and finance and economy.
Can't get it right.
No, they can't. What do they say? The two highest paying jobs that are always wrong are economists and meteorologists.
Yep.
So
all right, his next one I thought was really fun, and I resonated with this one a lot. Hard work is massively overrated.
Yes.
What you work on is far more important than how hard you work. He says, I'm pretty lazy, but I'm happy and successful. Janitors work hard. Backline cooks work hard. Hard work helps you win your game. Choose the right game. This is something Alex Hormozi talks about a lot, where it's like you have to choose the right boat. And back when he was doing gyms, he was a part of a mastermind group. I think it was with Russell Brunson. And he was doing these gyms where he wanted to own the biggest gym franchise in the world. And so he had like 6 gyms himself, running himself ragged. He had figured out how to acquire clients for a gym and how to get them to upsell into like buying supplements and doing all this other stuff. He had figured out all this stuff, and he was sharing it in his mastermind group. And I think it was Russell Brunson that he credits with telling him, you have a level 10 skill set living in a level 2 opportunity. And when I see this tweet, that's what I think about. His level 2 opportunity was gym franchises.
Oh man.
He then licensed, he said, okay, I paid to be a part of this mastermind group, paid money I didn't have, and I am going to listen to what he says. So he took that and was like, okay, how can I apply level 10 skill set to a level 10 opportunity? And he got into licensing. So he started teaching other gym owners, instead of trying to own all the gyms, he said, I'm going to teach other gym owners how to do what I've done with my 6. And it skyrocketed.
Dude, that's literally what I did with my nonprofit. I was all over Central Florida because we hired youth to farm and landscape, teaching them life skills. And I loved it. It was patent. It worked. And it was doing well. It was my heart. It was like, oh man, these kids.
Heart and your hands.
Heart, yeah. Well, a lot of everything.
Yeah.
I was, you talking about burning the candle at both ends? Like I was torching that thing from the side, just getting straight to the wick. And, but what I found was I can use what I've learned instead to help people that already have basic infrastructure in place. So that's why we're at Edgewood right now, building the farm out there and helping them do what we've been doing and kind of licensing it. I'm more a consultant type of work, but the impact is far greater because now larger players are in play and a lot less every single day activities for me. Like I'll tell you what, man, this is the most Saturdays I've had off in 7 years. And I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong, because in farming, some of the best farmers that I've ever come into contact with are self-proclaimed lazy, like super lazy. And the reason that they're best at it is because they want to continue to be lazy. So they'll make efficiencies to maintain their laziness. And I was like, ooh, I didn't know you could be better off being lazy. It's more like being efficient and smart with what you're doing versus
spending the time
hard you're doing
spending
it.
the time doing the things you want to do as opposed to the things that you feel like you have to do.
And it's a weird feeling because you'll get stuff done versus doing, and it almost, we were talking about this earlier. It's like, why aren't teachers allowing their students to cheat? Like if you looked behind the camera right now, there is like a 42-inch screen TV, and I'm cheating my butt off trying to keep up with what this guy's saying. But you know what? It works. And Albert Einstein, you know, he never changed his questions on his test, and they were like, why? And he had open book tests, and they're like, why aren't you changing the questions? Like, why aren't you making it harder for the students? It was like, well, you aren't asking the right questions. And if you ask the right questions, you can use as much information as you can, but the value of that question, just like with ChatGPT, the value of the question,
the input is
going to
what
give you the right answers, and that's the whole what you're doing versus how hard you're doing it. Don't do it, man. Don't fall in that.
So in a meta example here, so we're working on the show Orlando Business.
Subscribe.
My business is a media production company.
Yeah.
So I looked at my business, and we're producing podcasts for like 57, 58 companies right now.
Wow.
And it's been up and down. We've had, at one point we were producing podcasts for like 100 plus companies, and you know, economy, all this stuff, marketing budgets getting slashed. It's been up and down. It's been an 8-year roller coaster.
Is it just podcasts?
We've done, now we're doing YouTube, social, newsletters. So, but it's been a grind, and frankly, I'm not the best at that, at navigating that. So we hired a CEO, Jeremy, and he is focusing on building that media production business so that I can go and work on my next which is building a media company that eventually, it's not just going to be Orlando business. We're going to have Atlanta business. We'll have Austin business. We'll have Charlotte business.
Tampa business.
So we can podcast
St.
on the
Pete
beach. Business, so we can eat that oak and stone. So
with Tom Brady.
So a local business news network with shows like this will source talent in the city, and by owning the audience and owning the media as opposed to just producing it for other companies and being at the mercy of how they leverage that media. Does the media actually grow the audience because they're not doing everything on the back end of the media production
Customer first.
to promote it? And so by switching my what and going, okay, I got Sweetfish to this point. That's as far as I can take it.
Yep.
I'm going to hand the reins over to a competent person that I trust to continue to build and grow. And I'm going to go work on building another asset. And this asset is a media company that hopefully ends up reaching a whole lot of people that I can either go and buy unsexy businesses the Cody Sanchez way. I can go and buy a lawn care company in Austin because I've got Austin business and I've got the attention of 100,000 people in Austin.
And you know what? That's how you do it. That's how you do it. I wholly commend you for doing that. That's with Grow Orlando. I'm not a manager. That's what I found out. I'm a visionary. I'm a visionary. I can dig trenches. I'll dig trenches all day, but that's how hard. Dig them enough so that you know how the trench digger should trench. Like don't be the trench digger. You have to stay in your lane. Yep. And mine is visionary, and that's hard because not a lot of people are visionaries.
You have to have an integrator. That's what I love so much about EOS.
Yeah,
you have to have an integrator, and so that's what Jeremy is. In Sweetfish, he's the integrator to me being the visionary in Sweetfish.
Integrators.
But it's incredibly hard to build a business to the point where you can actually have an integrator because one, they're not cheap. You got to pay them good money.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, when you've built something, it's hard to get your hands out of it because it's your baby. You built it. Yeah. And so fortunately, because of the trust that I have in Jeremy, I'm able to trust him to build and grow it without me getting involved so that I get to spend time on the things that the next what. So I really resonated with this one.
I loved it. And you know, folding Grow Orlando into Edgewood Children's Ranch was my integration, because they had the same core values, the mission. They have the students living on site. They have partners with people I've already collaborated with. They're going to Ebony Nutrition and St. Luke's, and being able to say, hey, like, this is the idea, and then have those integrators. You know, Valencia College is coming in as the ag team and stuff like that. Really opens up the ability for me to be able to say, hey, I love land, and I've been wanting to get into real estate for a while. I have time. Like, I can do that now. Being able to come out and podcast and talk about the city that I was born and raised in. I love this place, bro. I love this place. And, you know, natives are a remnant, you know, usually at my age, living around here, they wind up moving to like Tucson or some weird spot in America. I'm not saying Tucson's weird, but it's not Orlando. But I dig Shaan's. So
this next one, we'll cover one more. I think I thought this one was pretty fun. Most people do what most people do. He said this is a huge mistake. In the U.S., 50% of marriages end in divorce or separation. 60+% of the population is obese or overweight. 70% of people have less than $1,000 in savings. What most people are doing isn't working. My pastor in college used to say this all the time. We want to be like most people, but average is broken. Average sucks. I don't want to be average. And I think in order to do, in order to be part of the 50% of marriages that I think that's actually low. I think it's more. It's than 50%
more than that now. It's actually staying in a marriage. You are now a minority.
In the minority. And so, but in order to do that, you got to do things that most people aren't willing to do.
You know what? And I love this. I absolutely love this, because most people isn't you. You are you. You are influenced by most people, but your nature and your nurture create you, and your decisions are your decisions, and those collective decisions are going to determine where, not what your success is, but where your success is. Are you going to be successfully overweight? Cool. Keep making those decisions. Are you going to be successfully in shape? Right? Well, I'm working on it, right? Like, we're getting there. Breaking over the $1,000 in savings was, at first, when I was like, 70% of people don't have $1,000 in saving, I guess I fit into that. And then I was like, wait a second, $1,000? That's not that. I don't have $1,000 in savings. And then, it took less than a month, literally like 2 weeks. Like, boop, I'm in the minority now. 30%. I'm in the top 30%. And it took less than a month. And it's just being cognizant of the fact that I'm following the herd into the slaughterhouse. I'm just like, well, let me jump this fence, Yeah. So if you're going to be like most people, come to Orlando, because that's what most people do. But other than that, don't be like most people. Be like yourself.
Yep.
Be like yourself. Whoever's you. Be like you.
All right. Shaan Puri is the man. Follow him on Twitter. He's a good follow on Twitter. Listen to My First Million with his co-host Sam. They are brilliant. And if you like the show, you'll definitely like My First Million. Anyway, that's it for today, my man.
Peace.
We are out.